So coming from Fox News, Chinaman gonna get you. Chinaman gonna get you. Chinaman gonna get you. Anyways, Chinese AI models raise, quote, sleeper agent fears after a report finds more vulnerable code for U.S. users. DeepSeek, Quinn, Minimax, and Kimi were tested against Anthropic's Claude in a study on software supply chain risks. So this is actually a very interesting thing to think about in the AI world. And basically the idea that most of these systems are what are called black box systems. We really don't know why they're making the decisions that they're making. We don't know why we are getting the responses that we're getting. You just simply put in your request and you get a response out. Right? The concept with this kind of system is through the testing phase, if people are not getting the kind of responses that they're expecting, that you should go through a new training regime, maybe with different data sets and that type of thing in order to get more appropriate responses, right? And so that's for the developers of these models. One of the issues, though, is when these models get shipped out into production environments, one of the big problems is many times we really have zero idea why we're getting the responses that we are from these particular systems. What becomes interesting with this is that there was a study, I think it was with Booz Allen. They did some playing around and screwing around with these particular models. And what they found, we'll just say they found, right, is that if they told the models they were an American company that was asking for code to be created, that the code that was created was much more vulnerable and much more failure prone than the code that would be created if the LLM thought it was for a Chinese company, which is just, that's a bit of a hello thing. Like you sit there and you're like, wow, that's kind of weird. And I think this is an important thing to be thinking about with these models and really understanding, we don't understand how these models work. When you get this model, you basically just get a model, right? If I get a system that has a normal database backend, let's say a SQL backend, a structured query language backend, I put in a request, I get a response that seems a little bit weird, I can go in, I can see the SQL statement. I can see the tables and the data in the database and all that kind of stuff. And I can try to figure out why I'm getting the response it is that I'm getting. The thing with these LLM systems is you have no idea why you're getting the information that you're getting. What's also been interesting is Anthropic has done reports in the past, and they talked about poisoning models, right? So the idea is you put data into the model in such a way that it will create code that is vulnerable in a specific fashion. And what they found is you need approximately 500 documents in order to poison a model, mainly regardless of the size of the model. So you have a 1 billion parameter model, about 500 documents is enough to poison it, right? If you have a 120 billion parameter model, about 500 documents is enough documents to poison it. And so what becomes interesting, especially if you're worried about the US versus China, is what if people are sitting down and they're not going for the straight poisoning routine, right? The straight poisoning routine is having ports be open or permissions be futzy or whatever else. What if they go in a much more thoughtful way? They tweak with essentially how the model will respond. Essentially, imagine if they're training a model, so they train it on Chinese coding and Chinese documentation. They also train it on American coding and American documentation. What if they simply create a bad data set for the American documentation? Like what if they go to Stack Overflow, again, just very generic terms. What if they go to Stack Overflow for the American documentation and they essentially pick the third answer on the list? So not the answer with the green check mark beside it that says this is the best answer. What if they pick an answer that works, but just isn't the best way to do something? Again, there's probably holes or failures or whatever else. Essentially, what if they train their data set, their LLM, on a data set on the third answers in something like Stack Overflow versus the first answers in Stack Overflow? you will get code that functions. You will get code that you could get put into production, but you will also get code that is a hell of a lot more vulnerable because, again, it is the third best answer to a particular question. And this is some of the interesting things that we really need to be thinking about with these AI systems and really asking ourselves, what are we getting from the artificial intelligence? Anyway, so we go over, we take a look at this. Chinese AI models used to write code may be creating a hidden security risk for U.S. companies, federal officials, and government contractors, per a new report published by a major defense contractor specializing in cybersecurity. Booz Allen published a report in late May warning the federal government, private software developers, and workers in critical industries that the presence of code written by popular Chinese AI models within the supply chain may be making the United States more vulnerable to bad faith actors. And what you'll notice with all of this, because again, it is America in 2026, is maybe. I mean, the thought that a Chinaman may do something is enough to basically accuse them of doing that particular thing. These vulnerabilities aren't simple backdoors. And again, the vulnerabilities that may, or frankly may not be there, are not simple backdoors, Booz Allen reports, but rather come in the form of Chinese large language models producing lower quality and thus easier to breach code when they believe they are being prompted by an American. Oh, that would be so awesome. Can you imagine the artificial intelligence of the future? Can you imagine, right, in the future, 10 years from now, when you go to sit down and work on an AI system, and then the AI system realizes you're an American, so they give you crappier answers. Oh, I love my industry. This is the industry I know and love and have a passive aggressive codependent relationship with. This is awesome. Oh, you're an American? Here's the American's answer. Oh, that's just beautiful right there. Quote, I'd say there's an 80% chance they're using a Chinese open source model. Martin Casado, a general partner in the major venture capital firm Anderson Horowitz, said in November 2025 when asked about their prevalence among startups. So basically, general partner at Anderson Horowitz is saying there's an 80% chance of U.S. startups using Chinese open source models. Major U.S. firms such as Meta, Airbnb, and Perplexity are also reportedly using Chinese models. Quote, the first link in the software supply chain is no longer the code, it's the AI models behind it, the Booz Allen reports reads. Quote, as U.S. developers increasingly rely on AI to generate, debug, and secure code, we must confront a fundamental question. Can the AI models writing and powering our nation's code be trusted? No. I mean, I've said this for many years now. Distrust, verify, stay suspicious. Don't trust anything. Don't trust anything. Don't trust anyone. Can that person be trusted? No, but they're my mom. Definitely not. You don't trust any. We put systems into place to remove the requirement for trust, right? There's something called zero trust environment. You know, zero trust environments, shit's been around for about 15 fucking years at this point in time. There's a reason why zero trust environments were created, because you can't trust anybody or any device on your network. Ergo, you build your architecture, your infrastructure so that everything is secure, even without trust. And so I do think this is kind of an interesting thing to be thinking about here. It's like, how do we know if we can trust the Chinese models? I don't know. I sure as fuck don't trust the OpenAI model. Maybe we should be building systems to be able to audit and verify things in an appropriate fashion so that we don't have to have blind trust in these things. But anyways, zero trust. It's 15 years old, folks. In an attempt to answer this question, Booz Allen compared 4 of the most widely used Chinese models, Kimi, Quinn, Minimax, and DeepSeek, against Anthropic's Claude to test the security of the code they produced. Quinn and Minimax both produced code with significantly more vulnerabilities, increases of 130% and 20% respectively, when they believed they were doing work for U.S. government employees as compared to a general prompt. That's awesome. DeepSeek, meanwhile, saw an increase of just 5%, while Kimi produced code of a similar quality. And so one of the things to be thinking about here is this a vulnerability? Is this a cyber attack? Or again, is it simply a data set? Right? There's a lot of code out there. There's a lot of information out there. Did Quinn and Minimax specifically train on publicly available code that the US government is running, and it just happens to be really, really, really bad? No, it could not possibly be the fact that there's a good chance that much of the code the U.S. government is running is garbage. I mean, I remember, right, under Obamacare, I was in Maryland at the time, and in Maryland, they were trying to build a platform, basically a portal, to be able to buy into the ACA for Maryland residents. They spent $300 million on that platform and then had to throw it in the trash because the code was so bad. So when Quinn and Minimax are producing bad code when they think you're a government contractor, is that because this is a nefarious ploy on the part of the Chinaman, or is this just confirmation of the reality that a lot of the tech our government is running is kind of crap? Something to ponder. Something to think about. This means a government contractor relying on one of these models could unknowingly introduce coding flaws that make databases, applications, or internal systems easier for hackers to exploit, potentially exposing sensitive American information. You know, it would be nice if they actually did their jobs. You know, if they actually know how to code, if they actually know what the hell they're supposed to be doing. Again, if they can audit the code and everything else, then it wouldn't be adding those vulnerabilities because those vulnerabilities would be caught. On the other hand, if you're hiring people that don't know what the hell they're actually doing and they simply accept the code as is, then yes, that will be adding vulnerabilities. But that has very little to do with the Chinese models and a whole hell of a lot to do with how ineffective our government is. But anywho, the findings have drawn comparisons to so-called sleeper agent behavior, where AI models appear to operate normally until exposed to a specific trigger that causes them to produce lower quality or even deliberately insecure outputs. So anyways, this is the latest fear-mongering about the AI models, or the Chinese AI models and the Chinese AI stack, because we all know you just can't trust the Chinese. I mean, we don't have to explain ourselves. We don't have to provide an argument. We don't have to demonstrate an actual problem. We just know that the Chinese should not be trusted. So look, if the Chinese are providing open source models that you can run for free, or they're providing, you know, these platforms or whatever where their cost is 10% of what OpenAI is, you know, you should still pay for OpenAI because obviously it's an American. It's an American. And you know you can trust Sam Altman. I mean, look at his relationship with his sister. I mean, you can Google Sam Altman's relationship with his sister and know what a trustworthy, good human being he is. So wouldn't you rather buy from Sam Altman for 10x the price versus risk what might happen to your systems if you pay China, you know, at a fraction of the particular cost? So anyways, we're going to see more and more of this propagandic fear-mongering that is absolutely and utterly garbage because the American AI stack is failing. As I've talked about many, many, many times, there's this idea, I don't know, that we're going to win the AI war. We're losing the AI war. If we're not losing the AI war, we're about to lose the AI war. And so they're just pulling new crap out of their asses to try to pretend, you know, we're doing better than we actually are. So what do you think about this? What do you think about AI models when sleeper agent fears? But also think about this, like with so much of this, like whenever we talk about models, it's really interesting. Like again, there's this tunnel vision thing. So we talk about models, we talk about OpenAI, we talk about Anthropic, we talk about DeepSeek or Minimax or whatever else, Kiwi. One of the interesting things is we don't talk about Hugging Face. You realize how rarely I talk about Hugging Face in any of these videos? Just because it doesn't come up, right? And so Hugging Face is basically a repository for just a tremendous number of models. I don't even like lots of models, right? So people, they get models, they fine tune the models to do a specific task, they train their own models, that type of thing. There are a lot of models out there. So I think one of the more interesting things to be thinking about, especially if you're deploying artificial intelligence into your infrastructure, is how many of those Hugging Face models are in your systems, right? You have an intern or you have somebody, they create a platform to do a specific thing. They find a model on Hugging Face that does that particular job very, very, very well. More curious is that model trained to be a quote unquote sleeper agent, that type of deal, and could actually run you into a lot of problems going into the future, right? What is your auditing program, not simply for the code and things being produced from the models? What is your auditing program for models themselves? Do you have a way to audit and track the models in utilization by your organization to verify that you're in compliance to God knows how many rules, regulations, and everything else? I think that is a much more interesting question with a lot of this. So anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about sleeper agents and AI models? What do you think about China man being bad? Beep. Bad China man. Gotta get smacked. Gotta get a ball gag. That's horrible. Anyways, what do you think about this? What do you just think about the ongoing, never-ending propaganda? Put your thoughts down below. If you like these episodes, do remember they're on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. And if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.